Today I'm going to show you this machine I've just been given. It's called a Vittoria Express Calandra. I've googled it, I can't find anything about it. It's intriguing because it's kind of like the Bellman coffee maker, but with all of the negatives that I had put in a previous video removed. So what we have is we have a pressure vessel where you put water in there, you put the lid on, which looks surprisingly like a Bellman top. You plug it in, it's electric, and it heats up, it generates steam pressure, and then there's a pipe. I don't know if you can see, but there's a pipe just under here that goes from the main boiler out to here, to this shower screen, which has a little knob on it. And we have a portafilter. So portafilter has a big basket and a small basket, presumably for 1 or 2 cups. Put the basket in. Put this in here. So when it's up to pressure, you can just open this valve and it allows, the pressure allows the water to push through into here, down through here, which sounds really good. I tried this, just putting it into a cup and using a digital thermometer to measure the temperature that came out when I adjusted it to come out slowly, and it was 92 degrees. Now, that was without this portafilter on, so there's no back pressure, and part of the cooling effect is the flash evaporation, which would be slightly less if there was the back pressure of the grounds in there, I think. So it's probably coming out at just the right temperature, even though this, I don't know, it might be 1 bar. The water will be too hot in here. It'll be 110 degrees or so. But by the time it comes out to here, it's just the perfect temperature for making coffee. It's not going to make real espresso because it's not 9 bar. I imagine it's 1 bar or something like that. There's actually a switch on the side. There's actually 2 pressure stats in here. So if you have it in position 1, it's for making coffee at a lower pressure. Once you've made your coffee, you switch it to position number 2, and then it will get up to a higher pressure, which you can then use for steaming. And there is bucket loads of steam. It's a lot of steam. It heats up really quickly. It's faster, more steam than I've had in any machine that I've owned. So yeah, it's almost like a commercial machine. It also has the overpressure valve that we would expect to see. Judging by the colour and everything, I imagine this thing is maybe built in the 70s. But as I said, I've Googled it. I can't find anything about it. If anybody knows, yeah, drop a comment in and tell me. It's also got this little thing where you can use small cups or big cups, presumably. You can just take this drip tray off and just put it on like that if you want larger cups. So I'll just fire it up and show you how it works, I guess. When I tasted it, it tasted very much like a mocha pot, but perhaps a bit less bitter. You know, normally in the Bellman unit, this whole mocha pot arrangement, everything happens under the pressure that's inside this boiler. So when the water temperature gets up to 110 or so, there's no flash evaporation. So it's going to end up being 110 degrees of water that's going to try and go through here, which is always a bit hot, which is why they recommend when you're using a mocha pot or similar that you put boiling water in it and you try and extract it quickly before the whole thing heats up too hot. Whereas this one, because they've moved it outside, you don't have that problem. Now, where the water comes out is at atmospheric pressure, so it just simply can't be hotter than 100 degrees. And because it does do that flash evaporation, it loses temperature in that process, and it's got that little pipe trip across here where it loses some temperature. So it's always going to be just under 100 degrees. It's probably about ideal. Anyway, so I'll put some water in and I'll show you how to use it. So So it tells you in the instructions, you gotta put this on hard. Okay, close the tap, close that tap, plug it in, and turn it on in position 1. Okay, so now it's heating up, and unlike this La Pavoni, I can't hear anything yet. It's very quiet. No, nothing. Right, so we'll put some coffee in here. Last couple of times I used about 14 grams, and that seemed to work pretty well, so I'll do 14 grams. I won't grind it very fine. And the other thing I have been doing to make a slightly less, fewer particles in the actual espresso that comes out is put one of these filters. This is actually an AeroPress filter. It's slightly too big, so I'll just cut that down to size and put some coffee in here, which is going to be ground relatively coarse, more coarse than for normal espresso, and I'll just tamp it down very lightly. Okay. I've ground some coffee. I've got my cutout from the filter paper. I'll put that in. I'll put the coffee in. And I haven't got the right size tamper, but I'll just distribute it a bit. Try and make it nice and level. Okay. And I'll just try and tamp it lightly. Okay. So very shortly, I'm expecting it to reach the pressure, and this light will turn off to say it's at pressure. Okay, the light is just turned off, so it's at the right pressure for making the coffee. I'll just, I'll run some water through it, and I'll just measure the temperature just so you can see. So it's showing about 85 degrees at the moment. Actually, I might run some more water until it gets up to 90 or so. Alright, so that's high 80s now. So we'll attach our portafilter basket. That's it. Get our cup. And I'll turn the dial slowly. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I'll just adjust it so that it comes out in a nice slow stream. I'm expecting to see a little bit more volume than what we would for espresso, because it's not going to be quite as strong. So let's go for about that much. There's a tiny bit of foam here. Oh, how hot is it? So it's about 69 degrees. So that's, I think, hotter than what I get out of this one. So yeah, it tastes pretty good. So it's I'd say that tastes better than mocha pots that I've had, and not as good as the espresso, not as strong as the espresso, but pretty good. So the next step is we turn it up to number 2, and the light will come on again. And now we wait till it gets up to steam pressure. So I will get some milk. When I took the portafilter off, I did notice that it's quite disturbed at the top of the puck. So perhaps putting another one of these sheets of paper on top would make that a bit better, but we'll see how the steaming goes. So the water level's only up to here at the moment, so there's a lot of air above that, so we're going to have to purge that air out. So I'll just let some steam come out. You can see how much steam there is. It's just heaps. I mean, it's a bit frightening, really. I don't think I'll turn the tap fully on when I try and steam this milk. Anyway, let's see how we go. Okay, that's done. So, yeah, bucket loads of steam, that's for sure. I think it might take a bit of practice not to make it quite so bubbly. I've over aerated it, that's for sure. Anyway, it's passable. So the next thing is, how does it taste? It's probably not very strong. It doesn't taste over extracted at all. So yeah, perhaps a bit more coffee, a bit more than 14 grams might be more to my liking. And yeah, as I said, I think if we had a puck screen or something to just protect the top of the puck, either one of these filter papers or a puck screen, I think that would help, but it's pretty good. It's pretty balanced. Not the slightest hint of bitterness. So, there you go. I think this is a really good design. I don't know why I haven't seen anything like this before. There's no pumps. It's quite a nice design. And it's electric, so electric's quite convenient. It would probably pair nicely with, you know, a flare coffee maker or something like that if you wanted something to create steam, because there's certainly a lot of steam and you don't have to use it on the stove. It's just plug in electric. It's very convenient. I think it's a really good design. So tell me in the comments, have you seen one of these? Do you know who makes them? It does say made in Italy, but as I said, I haven't found anybody who makes this. I haven't found any information online on searching for these names, all the names I could find on here. So I'd love it if someone could tell me who makes them and how old this might be. And I don't know, perhaps if you really, really want this, make me an offer. I'll be happy to sell it to someone who really would appreciate this. Anyway, tell me what you think. See ya.